Well, what about skiing? You doing any skiing out there?
Yeah, they didn't have a great snow year.
Which is wild to think. I mean, obviously New Mexico didn't have a great snow year, but
Right.
our mountains are.
We got 15 minutes left.
Yeah,
we got a lot to.
You better stretch.
We gotta stretch.
You better stretch this circus talk.
Yeah,
Let's see your high wire act.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on.
Get ready for hot takes and insight from local industry experts in real estate, business, and lifestyle. He used to play ball with the Padres. He played hockey for the Lobos. Now they're crushing it in the real estate game. Together, they'll showcase the best of the Duke City. This is All About You, ABQ.
Oh, that's right. It is All About You, ABQ. Now, the goal of the show is to highlight the best of our city's industry experts in real estate, culture, and lifestyle so that you walk away with some value and feeling inspired. Now, the way we like to do that is to answer the questions you may have or interview the guests you want to see. So we invite you to join the conversation. You can reach out on our social media tag up here or join our email list to get some timely tips about our community and real estate market. Hey, I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque, and I'm joined by the world-famous Renaissance man, Matthew Binder, making his third appearance.
Third appearance.
On UABQ.
Yes.
It's always exciting to have you in town.
It's always exciting to be in town.
Well, you could say that, although I know Albuquerque's kind of a small town for you. You're more of a New York lifestyle kind of guy.
Yeah, but Albuquerque looms large in my heart.
Yeah, well, we're all glad to have you back here. Tell me a little bit about you, though. I mean, third appearance, obviously most requested guest on UABQ and the most appearances.
You guys did a poll on your Instagram, and I was
you polled
number
high.
one.
Yeah, you're always high on that poll.
Yeah.
Typically you're going up and down on the poll, but this time you ended up high with high numbers.
Okay. Yeah.
But let's catch up with you because last time you were here, you're living in New York, living the fast life.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've slowed down a little bit and taken a little change of scenery.
Yeah. I moved to Switzerland to be with a princess and raised two little princes and living outside of Geneva in a little farm town called Versoix. And I mean, my day basically consists of raising literal princes and helping to make sure that they rule the kingdom with
a lot of you probably think this is a pretty far-fetched bullshit story, but no, you were living in New York, met a fine lady, and she's trying to make a man out of you.
That's right.
And brought you overseas to kind of culture you up a little bit.
That's right.
What's the main difference that you're finding in your lifestyle now living in Switzerland versus...
So I moved from Brooklyn, New York to Versoix, Switzerland. I mean, the main thing is it's just a very rule-abiding society. Like, they love crosswalks. If it could be 3 in the morning in a farming village 40 miles outside of town, and if you don't use the crosswalk, a neighbor will definitely inform on you and you will have a visit from the police the next day. I know that because it's happened twice.
You know what that's funny about you? You're always a big crosswalk guy.
Big crosswalk guy. Well, I am now, at least.
No, well, rules are rules, man. That's important. So, but realistically, though, you having a fun time there, or are you kind of starting to beat your head against the wall living on a farmhouse?
No, I love it. I mean, I miss Brooklyn, right? I like where
Just
I
all
live.
the virtue signaling, or what do you miss about it?
Yeah, I miss people wearing masks outside and stuff like that. No, but like in New York City, at any time of day, you just like walk outside and get something to eat. You don't have to like plan your whole week. Because where I live, the grocery store opens at like noon and closes at 3 p.m. and it's like not open on Sundays and Mondays.
So as a tourist, I spent some time in Switzerland, and it's same thing. It was like you have to plan your day around what time are they serving food. Like everything closes down.
Yeah, everything's closed all the time.
All the time, and so especially if you're.
But at least it's expensive.
Well, you pay double for half the service.
Yeah, something like that.
The food sucks, dude. Yeah.
Food sucks.
It's just brutal.
Sausage, cheese. That's it. Milk.
We spent like $300 on a
milk with that?
A queso dinner one time, and it was
queso dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically a bowl of cheese and bread.
It's a bowl of cheese and bread for 60 francs each. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they call that? I'm spacing what that's called.
What?
The cheese
consensual
bowl.
Rape? Oh, the cheese bowl itself. Fondue.
Yeah. Fondue. Right. Yeah.
Fondue.
Have you ever walked into just like a proper fondue restaurant though? It smells like hot garbage.
Like hot cheese all over your armpits.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, after you just went for a long hike in the Alps, then you come back and just crush cheese.
Yeah.
Well, what about skiing? You doing any skiing out there?
Yeah, they didn't have a great snow year.
Which is wild to think. I mean, obviously New Mexico didn't have a great snow year, but
Right.
our mountains are.
Well, Ethan, my brother who lives here, he kept, I know you guys didn't have a huge snow year, but he kept catching like the powder days. So he would send me pictures from like Taos or
Oh, the Pow Pow?
or Durango, the Pow Pow. And I'd be up at like this like legendary mountain called Chamonix, which is like an hour from my house. And there'd be like no snow.
Just
like
scraping
literally
your
no
skis
snow.
on the rocks?
Yeah. Like the mountain looks like two little lines of cocaine, down the side of a mountain because it's just like, it might as well be summer outside of like these little strips of snow.
That's interesting. You would think that because of the size of their mountain, the elevation, that they would just be.
Well, the
snow
mountains are
year-round.
huge, but the elevation is not actually that high.
Not as high?
Because the base, like here, like the base of a ski area
It's
starts
50.
at 9,000 feet and goes up from there
Yeah.
or whatever. There, the base of a ski area starts at 2,500 feet.
Yeah.
So like the elevation is huge. It'll go up like way high, but so the mountains are actually very tall from the ground up, but like the elevation's not that high.
Thank you, Mr. Wizard, Mr. Geography.
Yes.
It's good info for anybody that's looking to go skiing.
For anybody who's still watching,
Let's talk about a couple of current events. Obviously, dude, got a little trip planned. We're taking the family up to Colorado, which I know you've spent some time in Colorado, but didn't you go to ski school up in Colorado?
yeah,
Anyways, we're going up to Durango for Ashley, intern Ashley, we
not
call
for
her on the
skiing
show.
though.
No.
Skiing's over.
Intern Ashley's 40th birthday.
International.
Intern Ashley.
That's how you refer to your wife?
Well, she was on the show. She was our original intern, so she's intern Ashley.
Okay.
Anyway, turning 40, shout out, love of my life. And so we're gonna take the girls
What's
up
up,
there.
Ash?
Go stay at we got a sick Airbnb. I should have brought a picture of it.
Yeah.
Big old like Durango ranch style.
Chalet is what
Chalet.
we call them in Switzerland.
We're gonna have some shallots up there.
Some shallots. Yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna go spend some time up there, have a couple of cocktails, and explore Durango and
Right.
do it with the kids, man.
Great.
So it's fun.
How old are your kids now?
4 and 2.
4 and 2, great
Actually,
ages.
our youngest will be 2 this month. She shares a birthday month with Ashley. So
Yeah. Okay.
Minnie Mouse theme.
Yeah.
If you have any Minnie Mouse costumes you want to bring by.
Yeah.
Aside from that, let's talk a little bit about NCAA Lobo basketball. I don't know if you followed it from overseas.
It is
Do you
huge
keep-
news. It is huge news, actually, in Switzerland. Front page.
Do you keep up
of
with
the
any type of
Geneva
like
Times?
politics, sports, and stuff, or are you just on a completely different time zone and all you do is worry about feeding cows?
Mainly, it's feeding cows. I've kind of checked out the last couple months just because, all my like super leftist friends are just having absolute meltdowns back in Brooklyn, so it's too exhausting to like keep totally apprised of everything that's happening. But I have a general understanding of what's happening in the world, and first and foremost, let's talk about Lobo basketball.
Lobo basketball is huge. So Lobo's had a great year this year with our head coach,
Made it to the second round. of
Rich
the tournament.
Patino. Yeah. So he took the Bows, put them on the map.
Yep.
And then he made his exit, as coaches do here. So Lobo's hired a new coach, Eric Olin.
Wait, where did he go? He went to Xavier?
Zaves.
How much is he getting paid for that?
I think 6 mil a year, something like that. 4 mil.
$4 million a year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He was getting 1.2 here, and then I think he signed for 4.
And your normal co-host Grant, he was a former Lobo coach. Did he? I don't think he made quite that.
No,
much.
he was making 12 mil a year, I think.
Grant was okay.
Yeah, and paid for these new chairs.
Yeah. No, I thought this table looked pretty good.
Yeah, it's oak.
It's oak.
So Eric Olin came out of UC San Diego program where he went 240 and 119. His contract will run for 5 years for $6.5 million.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah.
Are people upset that this coach left?
Oh yeah, of course.
People are pissed.
We don't have a lot going on here. So when your head coach takes you to the dance and then leaves you at the altar,
Yeah.
as they do, I mean, it's kind of the routine here.
But you just said he was going to get paid 3 times as much or whatever at his new gig.
Yeah, you can't be mad at
You
him.
can't be mad at him. I saw Grant was super mad at him.
Yeah.
posted
Well,
something.
look, I mean, we don't have much going on. So when we finally get to the main stage and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you rug pull us, it's like getting dry humped all over again.
Well,
So
pay the man,
yeah, well, we can find somebody for a lot cheaper who will do the same job.
All right, well, let's see if this new guy gets him to the dance.
When was the last time you went to the pit? You ever go to a Lobo game there? One of the most electrifying.
It's been a while.
Yeah, one of the most electrifying college basketball experiences in the country, realistically.
It really
real
is.
talk. But speaking of down in the university area, Nob Hill area, one thing we always like to talk about on the show is, real estate, what's going on with any, commercial deals, residential stuff. And this is fun. This is Nob Hill Business Center. This is like an iconic building, shopping landmark in Nob Hill. It's now under new ownership. Local real estate firm recently purchased this.
This is the place where geckos and
yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Nob Hill Business Center along Route 66, with the goal to preserve the history and revive the shopping center, which is great.
We've had some good times there.
Great times there.
Yeah.
They got the co-op.
Yeah.
A couple of cold ones if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But we always talk about how Nob Hill has just gone through, kind of a rebirth in the fact that obviously it was decimated during COVID, but now it's come back with a resurgence.
Has it?
Yeah, well,
because I remember even before COVID, it was the what was it, Mayor Barry? Was it Mayor Barry that put it in that art bus system that took 5 years to build?
Oh,
Isn't
yeah.
that right?
Yeah, was it Mayor Barry? I don't think we had a Mayor Barry.
Sounds right. Marty Chavez? Was it Chavez?
Marty Chavez is always the mayor.
Marty Chavez is always the mayor.
Which, by the way,
that's what killed Nob Hill.
For sure. And trust me, we've gone at length on the art project and how it just is.
So there is a recovery happening now.
Correct. So all the businesses are full for the most part, new restaurants, and so the vibe down there is great. And so it'll be nice to see what, if anything, happens with this business center. Just because I think it's nice. We have some hotels that have been redone and reopened. They have a cool Scottsdale vibe to them. So pool parties, stuff like that.
Really? There's pool parties?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you what, man. Okay. You should tune into UABQ. We cover all this stuff on a weekly basis. If you haven't take the time to like and subscribe on YouTube, and of course follow along for weekly updates. But yeah, other than that, man, what else you got planned?
Wait, how much did they buy that business?
Undisclosed price at this point.
Who's the buyer?
It's just a local real estate firm. So again, we'll see if it gets a facelift, but again, it'll. Yeah, all the stores in this shopping center are full right now, so I can't imagine they're going to do too much to it at this point. But
all right, moving on.
Moving on to more important things. The first time you were the first guest ever on our show, which is a huge honor to have.
It's the finest distinction ever bestowed upon me.
Yeah, all the ladies still talk about that episode. And at that time, you were launching, your new book, and then we had you on to launch another book, a second episode. So third episode, what do you have in the works right now? I know you've been holed up in a farmhouse, hitting the typewriter. What are you working on? Anything interesting?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I'm writing a book called My Painted Smile. It's set in the 1870s in a traveling wagon circus, and here's the premise. There's a little boy, about 10 years old. His mother drowns herself in a river. The father is a drunk and cannot take care of the boy, or chooses not to, sells the boy to this wagon circus. So the book is about this boy's life in this traveling wagon circus set in the 1870s. Yeah. And I actually brought my editor here. He's sitting in the audience. He's a little camera shy, but I brought him along for moral support.
Well, I appreciate that because it sounds like a fascinating, captivating tale.
Yeah.
Wait, so what was the starting point? Like, what made you think of to document traveling circuses?
I don't know. I haven't thought of like a good like origin story, because all my other books actually do have like a specific origin story that I can point to of like, oh, I know I'm going to write this book then. Living in Switzerland, I have gone to a lot of circuses. We have the Two Little Princes, and circus is still a very big thing in Europe. So we go to a lot of circuses. And
when you say a lot of circuses, is like a weekend thing?
I've probably been in the last 2 years like 10 times.
Wow.
Which is a lot. That's a lot
of
circus.
Refresh me. So circuses have what, trapeze and elephants?
No more elephants.
Okay. Yeah. They have bearded ladies and...
No.
Okay, sounds fun. Keep going.
Yeah, sounds really fun. A lot of acrobats, a lot of juggling, a lot of clown work, a lot of like just people who can do like have developed like really unique skill sets, like sword swallowers, still a thing.
They got unions? Circus travelers got unions?
Yeah, I think Switzerland is pretty big on unions. So, but actually, near where we live, there's a lot where the carnival folk have their trailers where they park their trailers for the winter. There's like a huge lot, like, I don't know, maybe 15 acres, where there's like 100 trailers
Carnies?
where
What?
the carnies live for the winter. And so I ride my bike past them quite frequently. And so maybe that had something to do with me wanting to write a circus book.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah.
And then what are some interesting facts about old-timey circuses that, most people today wouldn't know?
Well, like we just kind of think of the circus as, just one of a million forms of entertainment. In the 1800s, circus was like it. There was no radio, there was no television. Professional sports was like, baseball was just starting to get rolling. Like circus was it. Like every town.
Barnum and
Bailey. Like that was like, like the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey were like the biggest, it was the greatest show on earth, and it legitimately was. But in addition to like these huge circuses, there was a lot of smaller circuses that were constantly traveling around. So like that was it. Like if like the biggest celebrities in the country were like circus folk, and so.
Did they have like trading cards? That'd be sick, dude.
Yeah.
World's strongest man.
We got 15 minutes left.
Yeah,
we got a lot to.
You better stretch.
We gotta stretch.
You better stretch this circus stuff.
Yeah,
Let's see your high wire act.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on.
Moving on, let's talk about anything else but this.
Anything but circus.
Well, I think it's fascinating that you're still, committed to the craft of writing.
Well, it pays so well, writing books.
Well, let's get into it. But
Yeah.
what is the economy of book writing? I know this is going to be number 5?
This will be
Number 4.
Book number 4. I actually just got back from Boise, Idaho this week. There was a big music festival called Tree Fort Music Festival. It's like a big music festival like Bonnaroo or Coachella. Maybe not quite as big, but probably 60, 70,000 people there. And inside of this music festival, they have a literary festival. So they flew me out from Switzerland to be part of this literary festival and did some panels and some readings. And I was just like I was talking to my friend, my editor, D. Foy, who's off camera, about like just how small the stakes are in the literary world. So like the headliner of the literary festival is this famous writer named J.T. Leroy. And, when you think of like rock stars who have like big demands, it's like, I want like a suite at the Four Seasons and, bring me whatever, 72 virgins. Like this woman, I saw her throw a fit over needing to have an intern sent to CVS or Rite Aid or whatever to get like the right shade of nail polish. Mm-hmm. And like that's about how much clout even like top writers have in today's culture. Yeah.
So it's worth the pursuit.
You dedicate a few years of your life to a book, and then yeah,
and then you get to do the podcast.
And then you might get some nail polish out of it, if you're lucky.
Let's go back to my question about living overseas. There's got to be something cleansing about it, just to be able to unplug from the nonsense that's going on in America, mm-hmm. the day-to-day, the bullying, the crying, the new politics, the day-to-day changes and all the headlines that are going on with tariffs and Cory Booker, stuff like that, stuff that's going on at Congress. So talk a little bit about it. I mean, are you completely just unplugged, and is it a breath of fresh air just to be
Switzerland's like is unique even outside of even like a European context, like because almost all of Europe has had like this very strong like right-wing populist backlash over the last few years. So like all these Americans who hate Trump are like, oh my God, I'm going to leave to go to wherever. It's like, where are you going to go? Like they think that Europe is some utopia, but like France, Germany, Portugal, Spain, like Italy, all of these countries have had huge populist uprisings, and things are actually, the political situation in all these countries is, equally as bad. Switzerland is this it's like not a real place. Like nobody actually even knows who the president of Switzerland is at any given time, because the country runs so well that like no one concerns themselves with politics. So living in Switzerland is a breath of fresh air. Yeah.
So do you have do you keep up with the ongoings here in Washington? Because here's what's fascinating to me. Cory Booker, 25 hours.
He's a.
What do you know about it?
I mean, he was a tight end at Stanford. He's a vegan,
Okay.
extremely handsome.
Say more.
What else do you want to know? He ran for president in 2020.
New Jersey.
Unsuccessfully.
New Jersey guy.
From New Jersey. Yeah, he was the mayor of Newark.
The reason we're bringing this up, let's give some context.
Okay.
25-hour
Marathon.
faux filibuster.
Faux filibuster speech, yeah, on the Senate floor.
Talk a little bit about it. I know you
All
tuned
right.
in. You got it on paper.
I was listening for the entire 5 hours, knowing that I was coming to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I tuned in on TikTok for 25 hours to follow the stream, if that's a thing. Yeah, I mean, I think that, Democrats have been entirely feckless over like the last 2 months as like this barrage of executive orders from Trump have come in, and nobody, hashtag resistance really hasn't been there this time around. And so, Cory Booker saw the opportunity to position himself as a leader in the Democratic Party. I mean, this 25-hour marathon speech was literally over nothing. It was like a faux filibuster. Usually you give these marathon speeches as like a filibuster to like oppose some a vote on some legislation, but this was just like attention-seeking behavior. I mean, it worked. We're talking about it.
He had time to text me last night and just say that he got off a 25-hour.
25 hours. No bathroom breaks, no food. I read that he fasted for a couple days in preparation so he wouldn't have to go to the bathroom.
Great. We've all been there.
But, whatever. It draws, I mean, the attention, I think, will last long. Will not be as long as, like, the 25-hour speech itself. Like,
we've already moved on.
We've already moved on. We're onto the Lobos now.
What do you think about, look, you haven't been here in a while. So Donald Trump, this is not a political show by any means, but with your background in poli-sci, you're the best we've got as a political analyst.
Yeah.
So
that's why I got the call last night. Could you come in and talk politics on the show?
We flew you in from Switzerland. But to speak to what you were saying about how this is going to just be a flash in the pan in media, but Donald Trump got shot, and within 4 days it was completely out of the news cycle.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that pretty wild to you? I mean, how does the world see our politics right now?
Well, so I live outside of Geneva, so that's where like the UN is based. Every NGO is based there, the World Health Organization, World Trade Organization. So basically, all the diplomats in the world live in either like New York or in Geneva.
Just fun doing it.
And basically, America bankrolls like basically 50% of everything that's happening in the world.
Right.
And so when Trump pulled all the money out, basically every program, every UN program,
NGOs.
Every NGO, the World Health Organization, their budgets have just been completely gutted. So at least in Geneva, everyone's quite upset with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But mainly because they're losing their jobs.
They're losing their money.
Yeah.
When it comes to money disappearing or fraudulent spending in government, are you following along with Doge? What's your take on Elon Musk and his role in being the right-hand man?
Right. Well, I mean,
do you think it's all bullshit? Or do you think this was something that had to be done, or do you think this is just bullying
I just find it really strange that anyone would think that like Elon Musk wouldn't have all our best interests at heart.
Say more.
No, I mean, obviously there's a lot of waste and corruption in government. That said, I don't think that Elon Musk's approach of just slash and burn and then burn some more and then burn some more is the right approach. But what do I know?
Yeah, what do you know?
Not much.
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on a little bit. Here's a segment that's sponsored locally by Dion's. I don't know. We're gonna call.
Swear?
Yeah. We're gonna call this segment Matt's Minute. So Mark, go ahead and cut over to Matt. And Matt, you got 1 minute. Let's get going.
Which camera am I supposed to look at? Here?
Minute.
Well, I was not prepared to speak for a minute off the cuff, but let's talk about. Let me just talk a little bit about the downtown Albuquerque scene. I walked over here. Looks pretty good. I guess I'm talking to you, not you. Is that it? No, but the Ex Novo brewery looks great. Don't know about the beers, but I might go over there after this session. And this is Matt's Minute. Ex Novo Brewery.
Ready. In fact, that was sponsored by Ex Novo.
Yeah, Ex Novo.
Get a little
Checks
logo.
in the mail.
Moving on, as we're getting ready to wrap up the show, dude, I really appreciate you being here. But one thing I always like to leave everybody with is Skip's tips.
Oh, yeah.
Skip's tips are anything that saves us time, makes us more money, or allows us to have more fun in real estate or in real life. Who the f is Tom Fee? No, not who. What is Tom Fee? A Tom Fee, better known as a time off market fee. In a real estate transaction, the buyer has the opportunity to give the seller what's called a time off market fee. It's very similar to earnest money, okay? This is a gift basically from the buyer to the seller for accepting the buyer's offer. Now, this will allow the seller to take the home off the market while the buyer completes their due diligence and does their home inspection. Now, a Tom fee can be anywhere from $500 to $1,500 to $15,000, keeping in mind that it's non-refundable and it does not go towards the purchase price of the house. But what it does do is allows the seller to take the home off the market and give you time to do your due diligence. For whatever reason you decide to cancel that transaction, that money is non-refundable. A little bit of a gamble, but it does make your offer stronger in the event you're in a multiple offer situation. The difference between the earnest money is that it is non-refundable. It does not go towards the purchase price, whereas earnest money is refundable should the transaction cancel according to the terms of the contract. So sellers love it in a competitive market, and it's one way to make your offer stand out. Share this with a friend and tell them Skip said so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, again, Matt, dude, it sounds like you're just absolutely crushing it overseas. We appreciate you on your publicity tour, stopping by Albuquerque and showing some love to your hometown, man.
Well, thanks for having me.
Anything you want to pitch? We got a link to your website.
Well, my last book, Pure Cosmos Club, we're looking the producers that bought the rights to it are looking for money to make that film. So if you have $3-4 million laying around, find me on the old Renaissance Man website, and we'll talk about making a movie.
Good. So it sounds like that book is really starting to become a whole different life of its own in the form of film. So that's great, man. And like you said, if you're looking for investors, we'll be sure to get the word out for you. Again, follow Matthew Binder on Instagram.
No better investment than indie film.
Yeah, no safer hedge against inflation than lighting money on fire on a book.
Yeah, exactly.
Every Wednesday night and Sunday morning, and then worldwide on YouTube and Spotify. This is All About You, ABQ.